So, hear me out. I have some ideas. So, I've been going off for a while that if somebody's actively working, they should be able to live a way better quality of life. We're not disagreeing in that standpoint of society that those who don't work won't live as great of a life as somebody in, like, for instance, a high level tech field, um, or in a science field or doctor. Like, obviously, we all agree on that. But I believe that even those that are disabled or elderly should have a place to live, should have access to food, should have access to healthcare. These are basic needs. I believe that within terms of healthcare, everything should be under one thing. There should not be like regular health insurance, then dental and vision separate. It should all be under one thing and it should be paid for by the government. The system that I'm dreaming of is a blend between limited capitalism and a resource based economy. So let me break it down for y'all. So, capitalism, you make as much money as possible, but after a certain point, you reach end stage capitalism because all the wealth is hoarded by a small amount of people. So, in order to combat that, I believe that if you don't own a business, after you make $1 billion, you should be giving back to the community every red cent. Because at the end of the day, redistribution of wealth should always be a thing. It should not just be sitting within 13 families for thousands of years. Like, it should just not happen. I believe that, like if they were to give to like one of the sectors, because like I'm dreaming of sectors, not of corporations. So if you, like, for instance, want to donate to the medical sector, so that way you can fund research and all of that, you're giving back every red cent to help advance society. But I also believe that you can own businesses. Like, I believe that if you are working towards something that's revolutionary or that it's going to make a significant change or better the lives of others, yes, you should be able to own a business. Here's the thing, it should be under a sector. So that way, when you're paying your taxes, you're paying out to the sector for everything. I'm still thinking through the kinks of this concept, but basically what you're doing is when you own a business, if you create something revolutionary that's going to help aid the world, it should be open source. Everyone should be able to access it. So like certain things like, for instance, C-type chargers, like these days in Europe, they're making it universal. Like that's a thing that is going to be for everything. So that would come out of the technology sector, and then they would, like, let's say one guy invented it, boom, now it's available for everyone because of the science sector. Now it's easily accessible for other companies to utilize in their technologies. But the reason why I want sectors is so that way there is control in what these corporations are doing. So they can't pretty much hide their taxes or, practice shady business practices. It's basically like the sector is a union of all the people that work in that specific sector. Um, they make sure that business practices are as they should be. And then the people at the top, like the people that there's like a representative at the top of, like, the chain of command for that sector, and they report directly to the government. Like, this is what's going on, this, that, and the third. So the government can create policies that, prevent these shady business practices from occurring in the first place. I also want a strong emphasis in this society to be about aligning with nature. So, minimizing our carbon footprint, alternative resources for energy, just, things like that, green spaces, green rooftops, farming in your backyard, all of that fun stuff. Like, just go green kind of deal. I want to make the city walkable so that way people are able to get from place to place easily, and then public transport that's openly available to the public. I don't want a car-based city because then we end up with congestion and traffic and then pollution and blah 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 whatever. So I'd like, for green public transport as an alternative. So we're thinking like trains, electric scooters and bikes, kind of like how we have now, all of that stuff. And all of that should be provided for by the government. Um, I can go on all day. Like, it's a very well thought out concept, but basically, people would have their basic needs met: food, housing, healthcare, you know, parental things like childcare, paternity and maternity leave, things that people should just basically have, like, out of care for one another. Taxes would not really be that expensive for the average worker because I don't believe in the bullshit that is going on in this country right now where corporations pay the same tax rate as an individual person. I think that there should be tiers. Um, so with the people at the top that, like are obviously millionaires would be the ones to pay more in taxes, albeit they're not going to be paying like more than half of their income. I'm not an asshole. But that's because like every red cent after $1 billion would be to to provide for the community for advances, and social service projects and things like that. So, you know, at the end of the day, like, I have some ideas. I just wanted to share those ideas with you guys, and just let me know if you guys like some of these ideas. Tell me what you guys want to change, because at this point, I think I want to start telling you guys more about my city concept idea that I have. And like, it's not even just like a city concept, it's more like a concept for a country, but like I'm breaking it down into like a city idea because I believe that we should be a community. We should be united. We should be supporting one another. We should want to see each other advance, not push each other down. This is not the type of world that we should be living in. I believe in love above all else. So, yeah, just what do you want to see change? If you guys don't agree with my idea, don't agree. But I I think that we're not heading in a good direction. And I agree with this guy that there are changes that need to be made and the system should be rebuilt. Not saying completely dismantle it, but like it should be rebuilt with community in mind. I believe that everything should be easily accessible so as to not hinder civilization, so we can continue to advance and then eventually become a space race. So, like, my idea is basically for the advancement of humanity. And if you're not for the advancement of humanity, then this ain't for you. That's all I really gotta say.